I've been thinking about the future of the Jewish community here in Indonesia. This is the first vlog of a series from Indonesia. Shalom from Jakarta. I've landed after nearly 25 hours of travel, and this is the first entry in what I hope will be a regular journal of this trip, my 7th visit to the Jewish communities of Indonesia. This time, the road eventually will lead me all the way to Kisar Island, an island I've not yet visited. Rabbi Shoshana Kaminsky and I are the mentoring rabbis for the United Indonesian Jewish Community, and this trip will be teaching, visiting, and just being present with communities that most of the Jewish world have never heard of. This entry covers my first 2 days here in Indonesia. Not long after we landed, we went straight to dinner at a restaurant with many of the members of the local Jakarta Jewish community. This was everything I love about coming back to this country, our first Indonesian meal, and it did not disappoint. We had a whole fried fish, each of us, and I mean whole from head to tail. It was incredibly delicious with a wonderful sauce, the kind of dish you must eat with your hands. And after a 25-hour trip, I was running on fumes, and that meal woke me right back up. But honestly, the food was the least of it. What woke me up was sitting across the table from old friends and realizing how much the children have grown, and to be truthful, the adults as well. Like me, many are gray. You forget between visits that time is passing for them too. It was especially nice to see Rabbi Ben Verbrook's 2 grandsons, now handsome, very energetic young men. During the evening, we also talked with 2 conversion candidates. These are always moving and powerful discussions. And as we talked with them, and also with many of the community members over dinner, we had a conversation I want to share with you because I believe it matters beyond Jakarta. We talked about how hard it is, practically, to find a spouse in Indonesia when you're Jewish. The dating pool is not exactly large when your community numbers in the dozens or hundreds and not in the thousands, and spread over many, many islands. This is a question young people ask here, but they also ask it across the globe. In essence, it asks, how can we build Jewish communities, not only for the present, but also for the future? Sadly, there are no easy answers, especially here in Indonesia. But that conversation opened into a bigger one, which was about the misuse of the word religious as the property of only one group, leading also to the idea that religious authority and religious legitimacy belongs to one narrow definition of observance or one gatekeeping voice. Our discussion led to the realization that the word religious doesn't belong to the conservative, the reform, the orthodox, or the reconstructionist. Rather, it belongs to us all. I don't think I need to tell you why that lands differently when you're sitting in Jakarta with people who've had to fight quietly and persistently for the right simply to be counted as Jews. It's one thing to hear that sentence in a seminar. It's another to hear it from someone who has actually had to live the question day after day. After breakfast this morning, we had a very interesting meeting, which I'd like to mention a little bit, only in general terms. We met with local, non-Jewish leadership to discuss the importance of a Jewish community here in Indonesia. But it was a great honor to discuss this, and I want to share the spirit of our discussion without the specifics. We had a long, unhurried conversation about Pancasila, and I want to spend a few minutes on that because Pancasila matters more than just a pressing mention. Pancasila is Indonesia's founding national philosophy, and its principles bring all of the diverse people together. Its first principle is a belief in one God, and that single principle does real work for a community like ours. It means our monotheism isn't something the state has to tolerate or make an exception for. It fits the state's own founding formula. Being strict monotheists in Indonesia isn't a tension with being Indonesian, but it's in harmony with Indonesian identity. This discussion naturally opened into a conversation about interreligious understanding, especially among the Abrahamic faiths, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. We discussed similarities and differences, but focused always on the importance of harmony and understanding. Hopefully this meeting will be the first in an ongoing discussion, especially for the community here in Indonesia. I brought a beautiful gift, a Hanukkah made by Beth David member Jeff Warwick. And what caught our host's attention were the moon cycles worked into the design of the candle holders. As he expressed his appreciation, he ruminated on the importance that the moon also plays in the Muslim calendar. Our meeting was held in a hotel, and as we talked, we feasted from plates of pisang goreng, fried banana. If you've never tried it, it's one of the great unsung fried foods of the world, and I have no doubt led to a very fruitful discussion. Later in the afternoon, we visited a Netherlands war cemetery here in Jakarta that covered the period before World War II and afterwards. This isn't rows of headstones the way you might picture a war cemetery. Rather, it's a well-maintained field of wooden crosses, stars, and other symbols. It was also a columbarium, a wall after wall of urns, each marking some soldier or civilian who died here during the war in one of the Japanese internment camps. At the entrance, there was a sign explaining how to read the grave markers. The shape tells you the faith of the person resting there. A cross for a Christian man, a slightly different cross for a woman, a crescent moon for a Muslim, an arched stone for a Buddhist, and right there among them, plain as any of them, a six-pointed star, which the sign marked as Yehudi, Jew. Whoever laid out this place decades ago knew that Jews were among the dead, and they made room for them in wood and on urn, without a second thought. That really is the heart of why this place matters to the Jewish community. Not any one name on one urn, just the plain fact built into the sign itself that Jews were here. Now the community does point to specific names on the wall, even when there is only a cross on the urn, a Kohen, a mayor, or a cook. While the cross may point otherwise, to the community here in Indonesia, they believe that these are Jews. Belief is not proof, but for the community, the names and the stars are indications that Jews were here in Indonesia, and indeed, Jews are still here in Indonesia in the present and looking to the future. Standing there, I kept thinking about the idea of pilgrimage, what it means for a community to have a place like this to visit and feel their ancestors' presence, rather than only carry on memory. Most of what we experience on these trips are oral histories, a family story, a tradition from years ago, never written down. But this cemetery is different. No one needs to take anyone's word for the star on the sign. I felt today, literally, standing in a Muslim majority country, the presence of its Jewish past. But because we're in Jakarta and no honest travel vlog skips over this, I want to mention that it took an hour and a half to get back from the cemetery to the hotel, just a few kilometers. Jakarta traffic is its own form of religious discipline. Maybe I should have recited psalms or prayers. These might have helped me learn real patience as I sat for that long car journey. That was Jakarta. Tomorrow we keep moving. If you want to follow the rest of this journey, make sure you're signed up. Thank you for joining me. Shalom.